Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So welcome everyone to ENT600, which is Technology Entrepreneurship. So this course is all about exploring how technology and innovation can be turned into opportunities. Opportunities that not only solve problems, but also create value, impact, impact to whom? To communities and shape industry. So now, why does technology entrepreneurship matter today? Because in our fast changing digital world, timing and technology are everything. The ability to spot trend early, adapt quickly, and innovative strategically can make the difference between leading the market and being left behind. So this course will help you understand how to harness that power. Power to how to combine your creativity, knowledge, and technology to build transformative ventures. So by the end of this semester, my hope is that you won't just learn entrepreneurship, but you will start thinking like entrepreneurs. So people who see challenge as opportunity, who innovative fearlessly, and who are ready to build a better future through technology. So in this course, you're going to master three powerful pillars that define a successful entrepreneur. Okay. First, entrepreneurship's fundamentals. Okay. This one you will learn to understand the dynamic process of identifying opportunities and building venture from the ground up. Okay, we will explore how ideas evolve into business, how to spot market gaps, and how to transform innovation into impact. Okay, second is creativity versus innovation. Many people think that they are the same, but they are not. Creativity is about gathering or generating novel ideas. Innovation is about turning those ideas, okay, into some valuable. In this course, you will learn to bridge that gap, to move from imagination to implementation, okay. And the third one is the entrepreneurial journey. So we will walk through the entire process from um, the initial concept through product through product developments to commercialization and also market entry. So you will see that entrepreneurship isn't at one time X. It's a continuous journey of learning, adapting, and growing. So together, this area will help you build the mindset, skill set, and tool set to thrive in today's technology-driven world. Okay, so let's start with a fundamental question. What is entrepreneurship? Okay, what is entrepreneurship? Okay, entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business. It is more than that. It is a dynamic, okay, dynamic process of change and creation that transform markets and creates value. So it is about seeing others what others don't, such as identifying gaps. So evaluating opportunity. Okay, what is the opportunity? And turning them into something meaningful. So think like an entrepreneur is a think of entrepreneur as a market detective. So we need to identify unmet needs, evaluate whether an idea is viable, and then exploit the opportunity by executing a real solution. So what is the ultimate goal? So the ultimate goal is to build new venture, okay, that create real, okay, measurable value, not just profit, but impact. So this is involve calculating risk taking, not blind gambling. So entrepreneur takes smart risks, guided by data, insight, and intuition. So to create something new and better. So entrepreneurship isn't a single act. it's a continuous cycle of spotting opportunities, tasting ideas, learning from feedback, and scaling innovation. So by the end of this course, I want you to start thinking this way to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities waiting to be sharpened by your creativity and action. So, entrepreneurship is built of four essentials dimensions, four core pillars that define how successful ventures are created and sustained. So the first is risk management. Okay, entrepreneurs operate in uncertainty, but successful ones don't gamble. So it's not about gamble. They make strategic, calculated decision based on research, logic, and also timing. Okay, so risk management is about minimizing uncertainty through knowledge and also preparation. So the second is creativity and innovation. So this is where idea comes to life. Okay, so creativity sparks the idea, which is innovations turns into something tangible. Okay, something tangible that delivers real market value. So you will learn how to take a raw concept and transform it into a viable products or service that meet a real need. Okay, so the third dimension is opportunity exploitations. Okay, spotting an opportunity isn't enough. You must act on it. This is about turning validate market gaps into viable business ventures, such as product, services, or solutions that can solve problem better than existing alternative. Okay, and finally is proactiveness. So entrepreneurs are forward thinking thinkers. Okay, forward thinkers. They don't wait for change. They anticipate into it. So being proactive means that it identifying signals, trend, market shift from competitor do, and taking action quickly and deceive, 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 decisively. Okay, this four dimension, which is risk management, creativity, opportunity exploitation, and proactively, work together as the foundation of entrepreneurial mindset. So mastering them, it means that you will not only be able to start a business but also sustain and grow it strategically. Okay, so when we talk about the risk in entrepreneurship, it is important to understand these things. Okay, uncertainty is not the enemy. Okay, uncertainty is not enemy. Is unmanaged uncertainty is. Okay, the goal of risk management isn't to avoid risk altogether. That's impossible in business. The real goal is to understand, measure, and manage it strategically. Okay, so there is three components to this process, which is okay. First, risk identification. So entrepreneur must map out potential threats, whether there are market relatable, technology, financial, and also operational. So knowing where the vulnerabilities will allow you to plan ahead instead of reaction in panic later. Okay, so second one is mitigation strategies. One risk are identified, you develop tactical responses. This one is a step to minimize their likelihood or reduce the impact. So this might include diversifying supplies, testing prototype before launch, or building financial buffer. So, and the third one is contingency planning. Even the best strategies can fail. Okay, so contingency plans prepare you for those moments. Alternative pathways that help you pivot quickly and stay resilient when challenge arrive. Okay, so please remember that great entrepreneurs don't eliminate risk. They engineer stability through preparation, awareness, and also adaptability. So, when we talk about the entrepreneurship, okay, creativity and innovation are the lifeblood, okay, lifeblood of progress. They are what separate dreamers from doers. Okay, let's start with creativity. So this is about how we think new. Okay, we think new. Creativity means generating original concept, okay, reimaging, okay, solution, exploring those what if scenario, and daring to break conventional pattern. So it is about giving yourself permission to think differently. Every creative ideas begin with curiosity. Okay, a simple question like, what if there's a better way? Okay, so now we take a look on innovation. Innovation is where creativity become real. Okay, so it is how we deliver new. Okay, innovation is the act of bringing idea to market, solving real world problem, and we try to driving adoption at scale. So you can think of this way: creativity in the mind, innovation happen in the market. Okay, so together creativity and innovation bridge imagination and also impact. So entrepreneurs who master both, okay, innovation and also creativity will transform well. Okay, so as you work together your project in ENT600, I want you to remember this: think new but also deliver new. That's where true entrepreneurship happen. Okay. So now let's explore one of the most exciting part of entrepreneurship, which is opportunity exploitation. Okay. So this is the bridge between validation and value creation. It's where you transform promising opportunity into tangible product or tangible service, and maybe ventures that generate sustainable revenue. Okay, so the process begin with ideation. So this is where raw concept emerge from market research, mean that you do the research, customer pain point or personal experiences. So the best idea is often comes from frustration, moment where you think, why hasn't anyone fixed this yet? Um, okay, that's your starting point. Okay, so next come to validation. Here's where you test your idea. So you use prototype, MPVs, a minimum viable product, and gather real customer feedback. Okay, so remember, assumption kill business, validation save them. So every piece of feedback helps you refine your product and confirm whether the market truly needs it. Okay, and finally is launch. Okay, this is the moment you bring your refined solution to market with a strong product market fit. So but launching doesn't mean the work is done. It means that learning begins. Okay, entrepreneur continuously test, pivots, and improve as they grow. Okay, so in a short, opportunity exploitation is about turning insight into impact. So it's where innovation will meet educations and where your entrepreneurial journey truly begins. Now take a look on the proactiveness. Okay, so when it comes to entrepreneurship, timing is everything, and that where proactiveness, okay, become your secret weapon. Okay, so proactive entrepreneur don't wait for perfect information. They don't wait for permission. Okay, they act early and they act decisively. Okay, while maybe others are still analyzing and hesitating. Proactive thinkers are already executing. So let's break this down. Okay, first is signal detection. So this means that identifying emerging trend and what is the market shift before they become obvious. Okay, so maybe it is a change in consumer behavior, maybe a new technology gaining traction, or maybe regulation that open fresh opportunity. So the proactive entrepreneur sees the ripple before the wave. Okay, so next is strategic response. Okay, so this is often referred to as the first mover window. Okay, where that golden moment when you move decisively while competitors are still deliberating. So it's about turning insight into swift strategic action. So, and then finally is market position. Once you have moved early, you establish defensible competitive advantage. Whether through branding, innovation, or customer loyalty. So you become the benchmark others have to catch up to. So remember this line, okay? If you want, wait until it's obvious, it's already too late. So being proactive isn't just about speed. It's about strategic foresight and the courage to lead when others hesitate. So that's the mark of a true technology entrepreneur. Okay, now let's define what really mean by technology entrepreneurship. Okay, at its core, technology entrepreneurship represent business development, the business leadership focus on pursuing technology intensive opportunity, whether in terms of product, process, or service. So it's about using technology not just as a tool but as a driver of innovation, growth, and competitive advantage. So this can take two forms. Okay, one is a radical breakthrough, what we call true invention, like the creation of the first smartphone or the emergence of AI-driven solution. Okay, so number two is incremental advancements. Okay, so this one is a small but meaningful improvement that enhance existing technology or business processes. So technology entrepreneurship is flexible in its context. Okay, you might see it in early stage startup, in growth stage venture, within corporate innovation labs, or even in academic spin-off that translate research into real world application. And it is equally diverse in its market approach. Okay, some entrepreneur focus on serving, okay, on serving existing market better, improving what already works. Okay, and then others create entire new markets or disrupt established industry altogether. And increasingly many enable, okay, platform ecosystem. Think of a company like Apple or Grab, which don't just sell a product but build a whole environment around it. So in short, technology entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business. It's about transform how industry evolve, how problems are solved, and how people experience the world. Okay, so now that we have defined what technology entrepreneurship is, so we zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Okay, in terms of the entrepreneurial process. Okay, in a big picture. So every successful technology venture from A and B to Tesla maybe follow a similar journey. Not always perfectly linear, but guided by the three major phases. The first one is idea discovery. This is where it all begins with systematic scanning of market, technologies, and unmet customer needs. So entrepreneurs look for gaps and pain point area where people struggle or where current solution fall down or fall short. For example, the founder of A and B noticed a simple things, overlook opportunity. People had extra living space and travelers need affordable place to stay. That small observation turned into a global business model worth billions. Okay, and then number two is evaluation and developments. So what happened in evaluation and development? Once you have an idea, the next step is validation. Okay, so testing whether it is actually works or not. Okay, this is about prototyping, testing, refining your concept to prove its viability. So think about Dropbox. Okay, before writing a single line of the code, the founder created a short demonstration video explaining how the product would work. The response validated the idea. People wanted it. Okay, people want this Dropbox very badly. So that's smart entrepreneurs test before you build. Okay, and then number three is exploitation. Okay, exploitation. So what is exploitation? So this is where the magic happens. Okay, full commercialization. Okay, so this is what happened is a full commercialization. So it's involved forming the company, building a team, and executing your go-to market strategy. Okay, a great example is Tesla. Okay, because this begin with the roadster prototype and gradually scale up to the Model S and beyond. That's the exploitation, which is turning a concept into a operational and scalable venture. Okay, so remember that entrepreneurship isn't just about the idea, it's a process of discovery, validation, and education. So every step matters and every phase builds the foundation for sustainable success. Okay, so now we go to phase one, idea search and generation. So phase one start with a real painful problems and quick check for scalability. In Technopreneur, we either build new or adapt existing devices, methods, or material. So what we can do is we do the ideation, market user scanning, or first pass screening to kill weak ideas early. So we build an idea board showing that the problem, proposal solution, and early proof of it. Okay. And now that we generated a promising idea, so it's time to move into phase two, which is idea evolution and development. So this phase is where we bridge the gap between imagination and reality. So it is about turning idea into tangible, testable product. Okay, so we begin with the technical blueprint. Okay, technical blueprint. Here we take the raw idea and translate into a structured technical design. So this might include R&D, R&D activity, or initial innovation experiment. So it is just like the kind of groundwork that give your idea a big bone. Okay, so next we move to concept validation. So this is crucial. We test the core concept with real users or stakeholders to ensure that there is actual demands. Okay, remember, innovation isn't about what we think it is cool, but it's about solving problems that people care about. Then come to number 3 is prototyping. So this is where your ideas start to take shape, literally. So you create a working prototype that makes your concept tangible. So it doesn't need to be perfect. It just need to be functional enough to communicate your vision. Okay. And finally, we have test marketing. So this is of think of this as your dress rehearsal before the big launch. So you release the prototype into a controlled environment to gather feedback, refine your design, and test your assumptions. Okay, so the ultimate goal is uh, this piece is transformation. So it is about to move from an abstract concept to a product that ready for the market. So by the end of the stage, your idea should no longer be just an idea, but it should be something real, validated, and ready to grow. Okay. Okay, now let's move into phase 3. Okay. So phase 3 is exploitation. So what is exploitation? Okay, this is the phase where ideas stop living on paper and finally take off. Okay, take off into the real world. So just like the rocket you see in the image, okay, after rigorous evaluation and development, this test is all about making critical decisions. Okay, the kind that determine whether your idea become a business or stages a project. Okay, there are 4 possible decision paths at this stage, which is the first one is terminate. Sometimes maybe after tasting and validating, we realize that the concept just doesn't hold up. It's important to know when to end and access honestly. Okay. Second, abandon. In some cases, the idea might not be viable now, but we achieve it for future potential. Remember, not every idea is failure, but some just need the right timing. Okay. Third is proceed. This is the green light moment. If your concept show promise, scalability, and market demand, so it's time to execute. You move forward into the commercialization phase. Okay, and then finally is the exploitation decision gate. Okay, here you choose your strategic path. Okay, will you go for startup model, licensing, partnerships, or direct product launch? This is where entrepreneurial judgment, okay, truly shines. If the decision is to proceed, you focus, shift fast, because you need to establish the legal entity, build a capable team, scale your operations, and execute your commercialization strategy. The goal here is to transform, okay, to transform your validated idea into a formal operational venture. So we want to delivering real value to the market. So in essence, phase 3 is about action, which turning all that planning and prototyping into tangible result. this is the moment of truth where your vision become a venture. Okay, so now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Okay, the role of entrepreneurship in the economy. Okay, so entrepreneur act as catalyst. Okay, as chemical engineer, you know what is catalyst, right? So act as catalyst. They take resources that already exist in society, like raw material, human talent, and financial capital, and transform them into something for more valuable, which is in terms of economic growth and innovation. Okay, at the core of this process are several key resources area, which is which we start with natural resources. Okay, which this include raw materials, land, and all the physical assets that form the foundations for production and also innovation. So next we go to financial capital. So the lifeblood of entrepreneurship is the financial capital. Without access to funding, investment, even the most brilliant idea struggle to grow. So this is important. Okay, then that is intellectual capital. So this represents the creativity, expertise, and innovative knowledge that drive new solution forwards. Entrepreneurship also generate economic benefit because they creating job, building wealth, and strengthening locals and also global markets. But it's not a positive. There are environmental externalities involve pollution, waste, and the overuse of the resources that can strain our planet if we don't manage them properly. So that's why the modern entrepreneur must operate with balance, okay? Whereby we should minimize the positive impact like job creation and innovation while minimizing the negative. In today's world, that balance aligns closely with the ESG principle, environmental, social, and also governance, and with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, especially those tied to sustainable industry and also economic growth. So the mission is clear. Okay, use entrepreneurship as a force for progress, not just profit. Okay, build ventures that create value. Okay, have a value, uplift the communities, and move us toward a more sustainable and also inclusive future. All right. So now let's take a look at one of the most iconic example of innovation in the entrepreneurship, the McDonald brothers and their revolutionary speedy service system. Okay. Before McDonald's became a global giant, it started as a simple drive-in restaurant in California. But what the McDonald's brother did differently was that they re-imaged the way food could be prepared and served. Okay, so instead of focusing on adding more items to the menu, they went into the opposite directions. Okay, they create a simplified menu. Okay, simplified menu. It's only just have hamburgers, fries, and milkshakes. But doing this, they streamline their operations, making preparation faster and more consistent and far less complex. Okay, then they introduced what was essentially a assemble kitchen assembly line. Okay, just like in the factory. So each worker had a specific task. One cooked the patties, another toast the buns, another wrapped the burgers. Okay, so this was the birth of assembly line kitchen. Okay, which completely transformed restaurant efficiency. Okay, but it doesn't stop there. What they do next is they also establish a standardized process okay, where everything was timed and measured, from how long a patty stayed on the grill to how pickles went on burger. Okay, how precise they are. So that consistency guaranteed speed, quality, and cost control, because the very principle that make McDonald's famous. And finally, they introduced self-service model, where they're removing car hoops and table service. What the customer need to do, that the customer just would come to the counter, order their foods, and take it themselves. That single change reduce labor costs and improve customer flow dramatically. So what the McDonald brothers created wasn't just a new restaurant system, it was a radical process innovation. They didn't just make a fast food faster. They reinvented the entire business model of food service. This case perfectly illustrate how entrepreneurship isn't only about inventions, but it also about rethinking systems, simplifying complexity, and creating scalable, scalable efficiency. So when I ask you to watch the founder, the film is about the McDonald's. So please pay close attention to how one simple idea, executed with the precision and innovation, reshape an entire industry. Thank you.